Hello, dear students. In the previous session, we discussed some of the reasons for cash flow problems. Uh, the possible reasons for the cash flow problems we discussed in the previous class. First one, the low profits. Second reason, we discussed about the cost of inputs. Third reason, capital expenditure. So capital expenditures in the heavy form, in the sense heavy capital expenditures. Then fourth reason we discussed in the previous class, poor inventory management. Fifth reason we discussed fluctuating demand and sales. Sixth reason we discussed incidence of tax. Seventh reason we discussed dividend policy of the firms. And eighth reason we discussed poor quality of account receivables, in the sense the mismanagement of account receivables. Okay, so these are all the 8 reasons we discussed in the previous class with respect to the cash flow problems. Now let us in this session, let us discuss the types of treasury management. Now this concept may appear for the examination for 6 marks or maybe for 12 marks. Okay, now we know the meaning of treasury management. Okay, we know the meaning of treasury management, and again there are two types of treasury management. So first one is a centralized treasury management. There are two types. So first one is a centralized treasury management, and the second type is a decentralized treasury management. Before going for the discussion of these two types of treasury management, it is required to know why we have to divide treasury management into two types. So what is the necessity of dividing the treasury management into two types, that we are going to discuss first, and then we'll have a discussion over the each individual type of treasury management. This division is depend upon, or it majorly depends upon, the level of operation. The causes for this division depends upon the level of operations, so when you are having a more number of transactions, when you are having what you know ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಇದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ರಿಜಿಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಜಿಡಿಟಿ, ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸ್ತದೆ, ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ have a bifurcation. That means you can adopt for a decentralized treasury management. But on the other hand, suppose if you have a very few number of transactions, okay, day-to-day transactions, and they are quite easily handleable or handled by the what already existed stuff. In that situation, you can opt for centralized treasury management. So it depends upon the level of operations. When the operations are very rigid, in the sense when there are numerous number of transactions, or um, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ, ಆವಾಗ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಪ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೆಜರಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಅದರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ಕಾಂಟ್ರರಿ, ನೀವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಪ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ಡ್ treasury management. And it also depends upon the number of branches. Okay, number of branches. Suppose if you are having plenty of number of branches, in that situation it is very difficult to have an eye on overall transaction of the each individual branches, right? Suppose if you are having a head office at Shirva, and you are having all the branch throughout the India, okay, all other branch throughout India, it is quite difficult to have full information, or it is difficult to manage all the branches from Shirva, right? So here you have to delegate your authority, you have to you have to make responsible your subordinates for their actions. A certain dividing labor has to be done, and in that case you have to opt decentralized treasury management. Okay, meanwhile, on the other hand, suppose if you are having only 2 or 3 branches which are nearer to Shirva, say for example, Shirva, you are having a head office, and at Udupi, you are having one branch, and maybe at Kalyanpura or Santekatte, suppose if you are having another branch, and somewhere Katapadi, if you are having another branch, in that situation, easily you can control, or you can look after all the transactions of those branches. So here you can opt for centralized treasury management. So it is depends upon this bifurcation, is depends upon the level of operations and number of branches that organization operates through. Okay, now here when there are a huge number of operations in the branches at multiple locations takes place, there we definitely we can't have a centralized treasury management. So decentralized treasury management will be applied or most suited. Now let us discuss centralized and decentralized treasury management. Centralized and decentralized treasury management. Now here, what happens in the case of centralized treasury management? Now, first thing, in the case of centralized treasury management, here all operations will take place in one place. Okay, all operations in one place. One place, that is in the head office. Probably ನೀವು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇಂದ ನೀವು ಲೋನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವರಾದ್ರೂ ಲೋನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಈಗ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಲೋನ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂತಿಷ್ಟೇ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಬಹುಶಃ ಈಗ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು 5 lakhs ಆ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ sanction. So on the basis of thorough analysis of the applicant's credibility in the sense ಅವನ ಹೇಗೆ ರಿಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಉಂಟೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಅವನ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ವರ್ತಿನೆಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ 5 ಲಕ್ಷದವರೆಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಆ ಲೋನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. bank to bank, this amount will vary. Okay. And for the higher amount, suppose if a applicant wants to have or wants to procure a higher amount of loan from any particular branch, in that situation, that branch manager of a particular branch must forward that application or his request to the head office. Okay. So this is what somewhat semi centralized, ಆಚೆ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಈ ಲೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ NPAs. ಓಕೆ. ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನಡೀತದೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ದು ಶಿರ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೊಂದು ಮೇನ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ 2-3 ಕಡೆ, ನಾನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ 2-3 ಕಡೆ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ರಾಂಚಸ್ ಅಟ್ ನಿಯರ್ ಬೈ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಶಿರ್ವ, ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಆಪ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, and there you can easily opt centralized system. That means without wasting much time, so without wasting much time, you can easily access all the branches, right? Maybe over a phone call or maybe through a physical visit. You can access all the branches without wasting much time. Here centralized system can be followed. Then what other thing happens in the case of centralized system of treasury management is all policies regarding treasury management will be framed by the head office. So all the management policies, okay, so necessary steps involved in managing the treasury will be framed by the head office only. So head office will going to instruct as branch officers to how to how to operate with the treasury or how to manage treasury. So and all will be issued by the head office only. Then the other thing that the centralized system will take care is operations through head office. So all the operations through head office will be carried out, and here majorly here operations in the sense payment and receipts. Okay, operations in the sense, in the third point, it is the payment and receipts. All the payments and all the receipts will be handled and managed by the head office only. And moreover, the branch offices are required to deposit excess cash, okay, into the accounts of a head office. So this is about the things which are taken care by the centralized treasury management. Now let us have a discussion over the advantages of having centralized treasury management. Advantages. So first thing is effective use of cash or efficient use of cash. Effective or efficient use of cash. Now here there will be no disputes among the head office and branch offices that they do not exist in the case of centralized system, because it again because the main reason is the whatever excess cash that is remains in the branch office that's supposed to be deposited into the accounts of the centralized under the centralized system into the accounts of head office. So and the whatever payments and whatever receipts are usually maintained or received and paid by the head office only. In that situation, there will not be any disputes with regarding to the management of cash, and further it saves time. It saves time in the sense branch people, they need not consult head office quite often for the solution. So everything, all the operations and all the things are carried away by the centralized under centralized system by the head office. So in that situation, it saves time. So efficient use of cash and saving of time. Then second advantage is cash can be obtained at a concessional rate of interest, because here amount obtained will be as a whole, and not for one particular branch. Okay, so that means here uh, the head office can procure funds, maybe can procure funds as a whole in the sense for the head office and for the all the branch officers. So collectively they can obtain loan here, okay, or they can procure funds at a reasonable rate of interest. Reasonable in the sense, of course, concessional or maybe reasonable, okay, reasonable rate of interest. But if a branch officers, they themselves, they um, if they take a loan or they procure funds, okay, in that situation the rate of interest from one area to another, or the rate of interest from one branch to another branch, that may vary sometimes. Okay, so but in the case of a centralized system, so easily at a concessional rate, the head office can procure funds. Then a third thing is here, so okay, here procurement of funds. Now the third advantage the centralized system of treasury management is having with regarding to the risk management. Okay, easy risk management here, because of centralized system, the risk of the entire concern as a whole can be minimized. Okay, but if we are following decentralized system, so here each individual branch will have to look after the managing the risk. But here in the case of centralized system, so as a whole, we can try to minimize the risk. Okay, then let us have a discussion about the decentralized system of treasury management. Under this treasury management, treasury operations are performed in different places. Okay, that means head office won't be having much control over its branches. Okay, they won't be having much control over its branches, and there will be independent treasury management in each place. So first thing here we need to know is operations are performed in different places. Different places, and no major control by head office. Of course, control will be there, but for each and every aspect, head office won't interfere here in this case. And the second thing here is that the independent treasury management in each place. There will be a independent treasury management. Okay. Then let us have a discussion over the advantages that decentralized system of treasury management is having. So first advantage is it avoids frequent remittance from branch to head. Okay, avoidance of frequent remittance from branch to head office. In the sense, in the case of centralized system, excess cash of the each individual branch has to be deposited to the account of the head office, or must be transferred to the head office. But in the case of decentralized system, there will be no such situation. Okay, there won't be much frequent remittance from branch to head office. Then the second advantage it is having is funds can be raised locally. Okay, funds can be raised locally, and quick decision is possible. Now here funds can be easily raised locally, because here as a branch we are thinking, not as a whole. In the case of centralized system, as a whole we have to think, or as a whole we have to take or we have to procure funds. But in the case of decentralized system, as a branch we have to think, okay, branch ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. And here in this case quick decision is possible. In the sense, in the case of centralized system, for each and every aspect, a branch manager or the employees of the branch, they have to seek or they have to take a guidance from the head office. That usually much much time consuming process. So ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಗೆ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅವರ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ದೇ ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ವೇಟ್ for the guidance, or they need not wait for the suggestions of the centralized in the case ಯಾರ್ದು ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಇಂದ ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ದೇರ್ ಓನ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. And funds are also can be easily raised locally. So by thinking from the point of view of only one particular branch, ಒಂದು particular branch ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣದ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ಸಪೋಸ್ 5 lakh is needed. Okay, ಸೊ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಲೋಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಹೇಗಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಥ್ರೂ ಔಟ್ ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್, ಈಗ 10 ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ ಇದ್ರೆ 10 ಬ್ರಾಂಚ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, 5 lakhs ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 50 lakhs ಆಯ್ತು, 50 lakhs ಅಷ್ಟು ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್. ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ third one is transfer of idle funds to head office. Already I have said transfer of idle funds to head office. The excess cash which is not needed for the productive purpose, no further. In the sense, ಮುಂದೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಣ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ 50,000 rupees ಎಕ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸೊ ನಾವು ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಡಿಸೆಂಟ್ರಲೈಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಡಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ಅವಾಯ್ಡೆಡ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ difference meaning of centralized and decentralized system. Okay, advantages of centralized and decentralized system of treasury management. And now you may be having doubt, ishtella helidri sir, iga which type of treasury management is suitable, the selection of right treasury management, how we have to do. Now here to conclude, both types have their own advantages. So far we discussed, okay, and now you are in a position to understand, or now you are knowing the advantages of centralized system, the advantages of having decentralized system. Okay, by when we compare, both are having their own advantages, their own disadvantages. So the selection of the right type of treasury management depends upon the nature of the organization and attitude of the organizations towards decentralization, towards centralization. Okay, we are all human beings. We have our own likes, our own dislikes, right? Suppose uh, what I like, that may not be liked by you people. So what is liked by Karthik may not be liked by the Deepak Dancy. So this is the situation. Okay. And the adoption of the type of treasury management is purely depend upon the concerns attitude towards centralization and decentralization, the number of transactions involved in the firm, the number of branches the firm is having. Okay, on this basis, a firm will take a decision with regarding to whether to have a centralized system of treasury management or decentralized system of treasury management. So I think this is it for today's session. I think I'll stop here. It is better to stop because already uh, I have explained for near about 30 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to end my class here, or today's class here. We'll see in the next session. Thank you.